All right, welcome everyone to our webinar tonight. We're excited to have each of you here. I think we have a couple hundred between Zoom and Facebook Live, so this is a great turnout. Excited to share with you really our experiences on Amazon through 2016, the end of this last year, and then really just give you our outlook for 2017, what we think are some of the exciting things that we think are going to be available to all of us, and that we're really just looking forward to. So basically, we're just going to get started here. Let me go over here. And what we want to talk about, the focus of this webinar really is going to be Amazon in general, but private label and building your own brand in 2017. So guys, what we want to go over really is the system that we've used, Andy, Liron, and myself, what we've used to sell millions of dollars of our own private label branded items. And so I will say my name is Nathan Slamans. Andy Slamans is my uncle. And so he's the one that got me selling on Amazon and selling private label products. So I'm grateful to him. He's been a great teacher, and I'm sure as everyone knows following him, it's been a good experience. But what we want to show you today is why 90% of Amazon sellers, in our opinion, don't reach their potential. So for everyone that's here in the chat, everyone that's listening, 90% of you, we feel, may not reach your full potential selling on Amazon. And that includes us originally. Andy, Liron, myself, we feel that we're not reaching our full potential. And so we want to talk to you about that. We'll get to how we feel like we weren't reaching our full potential and what we are doing to try to reach our full potential and what we've been doing to get there. And then also we're going to discuss what we've done to bring between the three of us, 90 plus of our own products, our own branded private label products to Amazon. So before we get too much further, some of you may have saw we have some giveaways to give away tonight. So the first, Andy's holding it up if you can see his screen. It's a Samsung virtual reality headset. Super cool. We have good word from Todd Day that these are really fun to use. Todd Day says that they're good to use, so we're excited to give these out. We actually have 3 of them. So we're going to give them out throughout the show tonight. The first 2 we're going to give away. You have to answer a question, okay? So if you get your chat box ready. We'll tell you when it's coming up. You're going to have to answer a question, and the first one to answer is going to win it. And then the last one that we give away, it's just going to be random. So everyone's going to have a chance to win that. So don't, if you stick around to the end, you have a chance to win this headset. So those will be cool. So, all right, guys, in tonight's show, what we really want to do is, first off, we want to provide you with some valuable information, what we feel you need for 2017 success. So, we don't want to just come on here and hang out. I mean, that's fun, of course, to hang out, talk to everyone. But we're all business-minded here. We really want to go beyond just hanging out and talking. We want to give you some valuable information. So we're going to do that in the next, 45 minutes, hour or so, if even. And then we'll talk about some valuable information. We'll also bring on some other sellers who are achieving success on Amazon. So we have Sharon Watts, Lori, and Todd all with us tonight. They're going to share with you their experience selling on Amazon and specifically private label this last year. So we're really excited to bring them on. They're all really great people, great sellers. So you'll get to hear from them. And then also what we want to do, we do have an offer for everyone here tonight. And some first mover bonuses for those who decide to take action. You don't have to do that, but it is an offer. We just want to tell you right up front. We're not trying to, trick anyone or do anything. We do have an offer at the end that we'll tell everyone about that we think is going to be really exciting. So guys, let's talk about something that Andy and Liron and I have been hearing a lot lately. These are objections that we hear from people who are selling on Amazon or wanting to sell on Amazon. So basically, these are stuff that we hear people, telling, they're telling us they want to sell on Amazon, but they have all these objections. And so these are stuff that we, at some point in time, probably told ourselves. And these objections are something that you've probably told yourself at one point or another, or will tell yourself as well. And then the first objection that we hear a lot is that, is an objection to the money. I don't have enough money to sell on Amazon. Or, funny enough, the thing that actually we can see happening is people that have too much money get an objection or use that as an objection. We actually had someone just recently in this past year who we were working with who had probably too much money, which sounds funny. I know it sounds crazy, but they're either being torn in too many directions, or they don't really have that drive or hustle to actually do what's necessary to sell on Amazon. So that might be an issue. The next objection is time, that we hear a lot, is that I don't have enough time to sell on Amazon or to sell my own brand of products. And so this is something we'll address, like the time issue. We'll talk about how much time we recommend or is needed. And we all know that we have the same amount of time, really, when it comes to it. We each have 24 hours in a day, but we all have different obligations. So we'll talk about the time objection. The next one is an ability objection. So some people will come and they'll say, I just don't feel, this might work for Andy Slamans and Lee Ron, but I don't think this is going to work for me. And this is one that we see, unfortunately, because it's really just, doubting yourself and your own abilities. And so we want to tell you that we do feel that everyone has the ability to sell on Amazon, as most of you know already, but also to sell your own branded products. Because a lot of people will say, yeah, I can sell retail arbitrage products, but I can't sell private label products because of X, and they give some kind of objection. And it's really kind of a glass half full approach perspective. And so we'll address that, but we don't think that, just going back, we don't think that money, time, or the ability is the real reason why here. We'll get to the real reason in just a minute here. And then a fourth one that we see is confusion. People say it's just too confusing to try to negotiate with suppliers, bring a product, from overseas, maybe setting up your own listing. Some people don't think it's too confusing to make a listing on Amazon. So that's an objection we hear a lot, but we don't think that confusion is the real objection as well. We think there's another one that is the real reason that people don't want to get started building their own brand or selling on Amazon. And that reason is fear. That's the reason that we see most people stumbling. And all these things that we looked at, money, time, ability, confusion, fear, more than just objections, what they really are, guys, these are excuses, right? They're excuses that we tell ourselves. We can't do it because I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have the ability, it's too confusing. And when it comes right down to it, it's, nine times out of 10, I'd say it's the real reason we don't want to take the next step in our business or whatever it is in life, really. It's because of fear. And so that's something that we're hoping to talk about tonight, clear up for you a little bit. And hopefully, when all's said and done, we can help you get past some of those fear issues. All right, so let's just talk about this. Everyone that's on here, I'm sure this is not really news to, because you already know that we're in this golden opportunity era. But let's just talk about some of the things that Andy says quite often. Andy, if you listen to any of him speaking at conferences, he's been at a number of conferences, he'll say this all the time. We are just in the first innings of e-commerce. So what does that mean? We feel that things are really just getting started. And why? Well, honestly, guys, if you think about it, Amazon's growth has been explosive in just the last 10 years. But before that, e-commerce is relatively new still. It might seem like it's old news at this point, and that's because for a lot of us, the last couple of years, we spent most of our days on, selling on Amazon or on Facebook and seeing all the e-commerce stuff, and we've kind of just desensitized to the fact that e-commerce is still really new and the opportunities are really just at the infancy stage. And so, like Andy says often, you and I have golden opportunities like never before. And that's because the barriers of entry that once held us back have really come down. And we'll talk about those barriers, but the biggest ones being the way that we can build a business, build our own brands of products, negotiate with people across the world, stuff that before only big businesses and people with money really could do. The barriers have come down so that we're able to do that now. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes here. And the reason we're so excited about specifically private label and why we think that 2017 private label or building your brand is just, such a great opportunity is that these are the exact methods that successful businesses and business experts are using. Think Shark Tank. I don't know, you guys can tell me in chat who here watches Shark Tank. It's a cool show. If anyone watches Shark Tank, basically what we're doing, building our own private label products, is the same thing that those guys on Shark Tank are doing. Now, some of those might be a little more innovative, building, a brand new product, but that's okay. Most of them are basically just taking a product and building a brand. And that's exactly what we want to do. and what we want to talk about. Travis asked if Shark Tank's still on. I think it's still on. I think they still make new episodes. It's been running for a while now, so it's a good show. And the reason I think it's a good show is because it's real life. It works. Most of reality TV, we like that. So that's why we're excited. So what's so exciting about this, and what most of us know if you're selling on Amazon, is that Amazon is on top. And that's why we're so excited, because we have this opportunity, not only an e-commerce golden opportunity, but an Amazon golden opportunity, where Amazon has been on top for the last couple of years, but they just continue year after year to keep growing. And right now there's no better time than Amazon. So this is an awesome stat that I saw just in September. They ran this number: 55% of people in the US now start their online shopping trips on Amazon.com. They start their shopping trip. If they're an online shopper, they just start on Amazon. That means they don't go to Google even. They don't go to Walmart or Target. 55% of online shoppers start at Amazon. That is powerful. That means that people who are looking for a product online, 55% of them are just going right to Amazon. They don't even look anywhere else at first. That's a good opportunity for us. And then it goes on to say that marks a 25% increase from the same survey in 2015. So that means that just from 2015 to 2016, 25% more people of those online shoppers were just going right to Amazon. So if you're running Amazon sponsored ads, I mean, honestly, right now, you don't even need Google ads like before was in the early 2000s was completely necessary to run some kind of, off-site ads. People are just going right to Amazon. And the great thing about Amazon customers is they're buyers. Amazon customers are going to Amazon because they're looking to buy, not just look around like, you might see on Google, people searching on Google for products and just want to know more about it. No, on Amazon, they want to buy. So that's an awesome figure there. Another figure that I have here: shoppers with an Amazon Prime membership, so just Prime members, bought more than 1 billion items during the holiday season. And this is a really recent fact. This is just from December of 2016. So this last holiday season, over 1 billion items were bought on Amazon just from Prime members. So again, I know I'm preaching to the choir for most of you. Most of you know the awesome opportunities with Amazon. But what does this mean to us? This means that we don't just need to sell other people's products as well. And this is what we're going to get to. We feel there's an awesome opportunity to sell your own branded products because of the golden e-commerce opportunity that we have right now, and then also the golden Amazon opportunity with Amazon being on top. So I just want to give you guys a number. If you haven't been following our training series, you may not have seen this. If you have, or in the Amazing Freedom group, you might have seen this. This is just a really cool number of someone who took Andy's course recently, and they messaged Andy just a couple weeks ago actually and said, I just wanted to drop you a quick note. Thank you for getting me started on the PL path with the course. I really can't believe how well things have gone. This person did over 2 million in sales just from January till December 2nd in 2016. And even more impressive is that they profited over $600,000 during that time period. So these are the kind of opportunities. Obviously, this person is maybe above average for this, but this is the type, honestly, these are the type of opportunities that we have in private label right now, and that's what has gotten us so excited. So Andy, I'm gonna let you talk now. I'm gonna let you share a little bit about yourself, and then what you've done to get to the place where you're at now, and then what your outlook is on this next year.
Okay, great. So that screenshot he just had up there, what's amazing about that member of my course, he actually reached that, I think it was about 16 months from when he first started. And believe it or not, that's one product that he has. And he just really worked it, and just incredible amount of sales. But he made it to $2 million in about 16 months. So in our private label collective group that we just started, it coincides with the course. There's actually another member who left a video as well. And I believe he just hit $250,000 in sales in the last 30 days. And he started exactly a year ago. So the reason why I bring those up is that can only happen on the Amazon marketplace. Well, I guess it can happen on others, but the Amazon river is so big that you can have phenomenal success and you can scale really quickly in a crazy way like these guys have. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you guys have know me, if you've seen some of the videos on YouTube, I started about 3 years ago, just started on a little silly show called Spreecast, and I basically was interviewing other Amazon sellers, and I was actually doing it for myself because every time I interviewed somebody, I would actually learn how to become a better seller on Amazon. And so by doing that, I started to meet a lot of different people in the Amazon community. And I always give credit, right, to the relationships and to the other seasoned sellers who really took me kind of under their wing and helped me and taught me how to sell on Amazon. So, you know, if you've been part of the Amazon communities, you know how great they are. It's just really a super place to be. I've shared before, I don't really have a business background. I was a social work major in high school. That was kind of my natural lean. I wanted to help people. I didn't think business really was going to be what my future was. I started helping my neighbor next door who was an Amazon seller, and I got hooked. You know, she was selling books at the time, going to thrift stores and, you know, putting them on Amazon and just getting crazy margins. And then she definitely hooked me in. I started doing it as a hobby, and I fell in love with selling on Amazon. A move to retail arbitrage, probably like many of you did. And then about 2.5 years ago, I discovered private labeling. Now, it's interesting that he said earlier that fear was like the biggest thing that holds people back. To me, that was totally true. I was so fearful of taking a no-name brand product, right? I thought there was no way I could take something and put it on Amazon and then it would be found in search. It just wasn't in my paradigm, right? And so, but 2.5 years ago, I did it, and I'm so thankful that I did, because that's my primary business model now. And you know, I always continue to seek to learn. One of the reasons why I'm partnering with Liran, I met him about 10 to 12 months ago, and immediately was impressed by his knowledge and his understanding of the Amazon marketplace. So he's helped me grow tremendously over these last 10 to 12 months. You want to go to that next slide there, Nate? So again, this is just for me, some of my goals for 2017. And, you know, if you're in our Amazing Freedom group, we encourage you, definitely set goals. I did 1.8 million last year in 2016. My goal this year is to do 3.8 million. We have a fantastic line, actually, that Liran and I are working on. We're about to introduce that I think is going to be huge when it comes to sales. So I'm excited about this next year. I think it's going to be really, just a really phenomenal year. So that's a little bit about me. And now I'm just going to give it over to Liran. He can share a little bit with you about himself.
Hi, everybody. So I've been selling on Amazon for a couple years now. Kind of like Andy and like Nate, I started out with retail arbitrage. I did online arbitrage. I did Amazon flips, and you know, then I wanted to move to wholesale. And I saw an opportunity to bring some brands to the marketplace. And my thought process was, you know, why should I build new listings and create, you know, do a lot of work for other brands, and then other sellers are going to jump on the listings? Let me just jump into private label. So I actually, over, I don't know, maybe 1.5 years ago, I actually took Andy's course and just dove right into private label. I'm now 100% in private label. Most of 2016, I was only in private label, and I really see that as the future, you know, for Amazon. So you know, this past so in 2016, this past year, I did 1.2 million in sales. My goal for the coming year is to get to about 3 million in sales. And, you know, some of the things that I've done in the last year, because, you know, for me, it's important not just to, you know, work really hard, but it's also important to have a lifestyle where, you know, I can work from home. I can pick up my daughter from school. So in Q4, where a lot of people, you know, doing RA are running from store to store, I actually went to China to meet my suppliers and to source. In December, I actually went to Cabo, Mexico, for a high-end mastermind that I was a part of. And so the private label lifestyle for me is a much more fun lifestyle than the alternative business model. So my goal for 2017, I'm continuing to build my brands. I have one particular brand that I'm branding off of Amazon, and really looking to build that up for the year and get to the next level. And I'm learning every single day, and I'm taking that knowledge and I'm sharing it with with the people that are joining us and in the private label course and Facebook community.
Awesome. And Andy, can you just tell us now, go over here, why you did make that shift? We talked about it a little bit, but why in your mind did you make that shift to the private label model?
Yep. So again, getting back to that fear, I think what a lot of people don't understand is it's just not in our paradigm that we can actually bring a product that we brand, whether it's Andy's brand or whatever, and that consumers are actually going to buy it. And that's definitely where I was at. And then for the last 2.5 years, I realized that you can actually meet customer needs better than a big brand can, because you can be more agile and you can listen to them and you can actually act quicker than what a huge corporation can. A lot of people on Amazon, you guys know the typical stuff. They do retail arbitrage again, which is great. If you need to start, bootstrap, build capital, that's phenomenal. And then you kind of move up that pyramid. And then at the top is the private label, where you're building your own brand. Lee Ron is building a phenomenal brand. I think, if he wanted to cash it out as he continues to build it, he might have the opportunity to do that. I'm doing the same thing. I have a number of SKUs that generate really good revenue. I could actually go probably to Empire Flippers right now. That's a website. And I could actually probably sell one of my brands for between 150 and 200,000 just based on the last 2 years of sales. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was doing wholesale or if I'm doing retail. And so, obviously for me, I want to give value to the consumer. But, at some point, there may come a time where I do want to sell my brand. And by private labeling, it allows you to do that. And, if you look at Amazon, obviously they're the king, right, of retail. Look at Amazon Basics. That's exactly what they're doing. They see what consumers want. They're able to go to the manufacturer, and they're able to make a quality product, right, at great margins. And so, that's what we're able to do with private label.
Awesome. And so, guys, I have a couple questions here. And speaking about that, we have a number of questions that people asked on Facebook prior to the webinar that Andy said you could ask. We have those here, just so you all know. We're going to answer those probably towards the end of the webinar. So if you asked a question on Facebook, we will get to those, just so everyone knows. And then you can also ask a question in the Q&A box. So as we're talking, if you have a question that comes up, drop it in that Q&A box, and then we'll come back to it and get to it. But I have a couple questions for everyone that's here. First off, questions, these are kind of rhetorical, so you can kind of answer them to yourself. Feel free to answer them in chat, whatever you guys think. But the first question is this: do you think that more brands or less brands are going to get restricted going forward? So most of us know that we aren't automatically allowed to sell every single brand on Amazon. Some of them require approval. So my question is, do you think that going forward, more brands or less brands are going to get restricted? So I'll let you answer that in chat. I see people, so I'll let you answer that yourselves kind of. The next question is this: are more sellers or less sellers going to be fighting for the buy box? So are more sellers in 2017 going to be on a listing than in 2016? So most of us know that the buy box, that's the buy it, or the price that comes up on a product detail page when you go to it if there's more than one seller. Sometimes you see that there's 50, 100, 150, 200 sellers on a product detail page. Our kind of thought process here is, are more sellers or less sellers going to be fighting for the buy box on some of these listings going forward? And these are some of the questions that we've kind of asked ourselves as we've gone through this. And then my third question here is, Amazon going to get more lenient or more strict when it comes to accepting retail receipts? So if you do retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, and there becomes a dispute comes up where they say a customer claims that this was inauthentic, and Amazon comes to you and says, prove to us that this was the product that you purchased, are they going to become more lenient or more strict when it comes to what they accept? And again, this isn't to scary one. We all have done retail arbitrage and everything, and it's a very viable business model, like Andy just mentioned before. But these are kind of the questions that we think everyone, it's prudent to be asking yourself. And then lastly, does Amazon want more brand owners or more arbitrage sellers on the marketplace? That one might be, again, we might have different answers on this one, but those are just the kind of questions that you might be wanting to ask yourself. So guys, I think Andy, if you want to bring on Sharon now, we're going to bring on Sharon Watts, who is a really awesome person, like I mentioned earlier, a good friend, and she's gone through, you know, like we mentioned before, you might have these objections or these excuses really in your mind. I'm sure Sharon could have made excuses as she went into a private label this past year, maybe even before that. But I'm going to let Andy talk to Sharon here and just go through what her experience has been with specifically private label in 2016 and then going into 2017.
All right, awesome. Sharon, first of all, I just want to say thanks for taking time out of your night to hang out with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
All right. So if you guys are in the Facebook groups, you've probably seen Sharon post a number of times. Extremely, very insightful, great businesswoman. I've had the pleasure of really getting to know her the last year and a half, and really even closer over the last 4 or 5 months as we've worked together on a product that actually she's been the one that has done the really the majority of the work and just has done a phenomenal job. So Sharon, if you could just tell us a little bit about how long you've been selling on Amazon and how you got into private label.
We started selling on Amazon, I think, around 2010. We did the garage sale thing. We did bookstores. We went to resale shops. Got tired of doing that because they just stink so bad. And then we went on to the retail arbitrage. Neither Hal nor I, either one, are big time shoppers, so we kind of tired of that pretty quickly. Tried some wholesale, and I had no problems getting wholesale accounts, but the margins were just too thin, so we got into OA. Probably off of your recommendation, we got into, I know it was off of your recommendation, we got into Curtis Backfor, how do you say his last name? Curtis's list. And we started buying online arbitrage there and have done a lot of online arbitrage. We've just had the same experience many people have had in that we buy a product, we get it listed, send it in, everything seems fine, and 2 weeks, month, 6 weeks later, Amazon blocks it. Just had it happen the other day with some Hess trucks. So more and more brands are being restricted, so we made the decision early 2016 to pretty well focus 100% on a private label.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Sharon found what I think is just a phenomenal product. I don't know, probably 3 months ago, and it's been working on it. We actually
it's been about 6. But it's been a long process.
And got it in the Amazon warehouse about a month ago. So just tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, I oftentimes I'll just wake up in the middle of the night and I start looking around on my phone, and I've learned from you and listening to Leron that what you really want to look for in the catalog is things that you maybe have never heard of before, unique items. And I was just scrolling through and somehow or other came across this niche, and I thought, oh man, I've never heard of that. So started looking into it a little deeper, and it's a phenomenal niche. It should do very well for us. It's already done very well in the first product that you launched for us. And I think we've all been pretty well amazed how well it's doing, and we got more coming. There's be more here next week.
Yeah, so I think we got this product in like about a month ago, and we launched it through the techniques that we teach actually in the course. And I think within 7 days, it landed on the first page of search. Maybe it was actually day 3 or day.
Oh yeah, it was a lot. It was quick, Andy. You did a great job on the launch. I can't wait to find out what you did.
And it's actually it's still like under 10,000 rank in the category that it's in. It's actually a really large category. And we've sold easily over 150 units since that time. So. For me, it's just been exciting. I don't know how you felt about it.
Oh man, I love it every time I look at my seller app on my phone and see those sales coming through. It's quite an experience, guys. So get your private label products up and going. There's nothing like that. Seeing seeing your product that you've babied and nursed and brought to market really sell.
Now, and then add one more thing in, Sharon, because you're not only doing this one product, but you're doing 2 or 3, and you kind of have a list of 5 or 6 that are in this same niche.
Yes. We've got, let's see, we've got 3 coming right now that are on the plane, so to speak, from China. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 others that are in that we've actually received some samples this week that I haven't even had a chance to talk to you about, Andy. But yes, there's quite a few more products that we can add within the same niche.
Awesome. And so you have the website, and your ultimate goal is to be able to drive traffic right to your own
Absolutely. Yes, I agree with you and Leron that I love Amazon, can't beat it, but I think that because of what's happening, we all need to be aware of the fact that we need to have an off Amazon channel to sell as well.
Awesome. Well, great. So guys, I just want to introduce Sharon. She actually does this business with her husband, Hal, who I believe is a Vietnam vet. So, I always
he's watching. He's on watching.
All right, awesome. Just want to say to him, which I always do, say thank you for service to our country. And I'm just excited to see what 2017 continues to bring for you and for us.
Oh, me too, Andy. It's fun. It's been a blast already, and when the next products get going, it's just going to be more fun all the time. We appreciate everything you've done, Andy. Leron, you've been a huge help to us and me. Without you guys, we couldn't have done it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Sharon. I'm going to let you go now.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So thanks, Sharon, for coming on. That was a great, inspiring, like a couple people in the chat here are saying it, and very inspiring, definitely. And so guys, like we were mentioning earlier, Sharon definitely could have come up with objections to time, ability, confusion, fear, and she got past those excuses, as we just saw, and it's awesome to see what she's doing. So thank you, Sharon, and Hal. Thanks, Sharon, for coming on. We appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm going to go to our first giveaway here. All right, so everyone get ready. Get ready in the chat box. If your chat box isn't there, then you might have to do the Q&A. I think some people are saying their chat box isn't working. But we're going to do the first giveaway here, and we're going to see who is paying attention. So we're going to – all right, people are guessing already. We're not – no guessing until the question comes up. But we're going to see who is paying attention. So I'm going to let the question come up here on the screen, and then everyone will type their answers. And the one who answers first, Andy is going to mail one of these cool VR headsets too. So, all right, guys, get ready. Get your fingers on the keyboard. Here is the first question for you. What was the percent increase from 2015 to 2016 of the number of shoppers who started on Amazon? And the answers are flying by already. So we might have to scroll up here later on if you can help me here. Let's see who was first. Someone said 55 first. That's not right. I believe it was Wayne. Was it Wayne?
Yes, Wayne.
Wayne Sanilla. So Wayne, you won the first prize. So Wayne, if you could personal message Andy your address after the show, he will get you the first headset. So thank you everyone who tried for the answer. We still have more 42% coming up, but that is not the answer. 25% was the answer. That was the percent increase of first time or online shoppers who go to Amazon first over 2015.
We still have 2 more to give away.
We still have 2 more, so don't leave quite yet if you didn't win this one. We're gonna have another question coming up. And then if you don't like the questions, the last one's going to be just a random person that's here on Zoom with us. So anyone can win the last one. So don't worry about that. So thank you for participating and playing along, but we'll have 2 more coming up. All right, guys, let's get into, we just saw what Andy's been able to do with his business. We saw what Leron's been able to do. We saw what Sharon's been able to do. Let's just talk about the 5 phases of private label success real quick. If you've gone through our training series that is available recently, we'll have touched on these, but I just need to go over it real quick as we get into this. Basically, what we talk about here, guys, is the first phase is how to pick a winning private label product, or we call this the research phase in the training series. This is really important. Andy says time and time again that 85% of private label success comes from the research phase or picking a winning product. And not that it's super hard or difficult. It's just that when you're picking a product, you can make or break it. And so having the techniques or knowing what to look for when picking a product is crucial. This goes for, most, selling methods, whether it be retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale. If you don't pick or buy the right product, you're usually not going to be very successful. So the first phase is how to pick a winning product. And again, does not have to be difficult. When we go over this in strategies, it's not that this is super hard. It's just you want to make sure you pick a winner. The second one is how to find the right supplier, because you can pick a winning product. You can pick a product that's going to do very well. But if you don't have someone that can produce that product for you or be a supplier for your product, it doesn't matter if it's a winning product. Or you might find a supplier who says that there's a minimum quantity order of 10,000 units at $10 each, and you might not have, $100,000 to spend. And so it doesn't matter that you have a winning product. You don't have the right supplier to connect with. So that's something that we go over, we'll talk about, but finding the right supplier is crucial. The third phase is how to easily bring your product to market. And this is the one, guys, this is probably when it all comes down to it, this might be the easiest part of the private label process, because it's nothing that is super special, and it's something that you can actually have other people handle for you. But that being said, this is the part that we hear a lot of objection to, or people being what we talked about before, those excuses. This is where a lot of the fear comes in, is in phase 3, how to bring your products to market. People are afraid to either deal with overseas suppliers or to import their product, or they give all these objections. They say, I don't have the time to deal with that. It's too confusing. I don't have the ability to import my own product, or I'm just afraid to send money to a supplier overseas, even if that supplier, even if other people have, had really good relationship with that supplier. This is where we see probably a lot of objections coming in, or excuses, even though it honestly, guys, is probably one of the easiest parts of the PL process, because like I said, you can have other people do that for you. And then the fourth phase, how to launch your product successfully. This is the big one, guys, right? This is the one that we all want to know more about, because this is where, again, fear comes in. People are afraid they're going to spend money on a product and nobody's going to buy it, or nobody's going to be able to find it. And so we just heard from Sharon how Andy was able to launch her product to the first page of search in 3 days or 4 days, whatever it was. He was able to do that successfully. And because Amazon is so powerful, like we looked at before, they're ranked under 10,000 search. They've sold over 100 units in a matter of weeks or a couple of weeks, because they were able to launch their product successfully. And this is the big one, like I said, because this is where you can make or break it. You can pick a winning product in phase 1, but still lose if you don't launch your product successfully. So this is really important. And then the last phase we'll touch on quickly, guys, is how to build your amazing brand. This is what Andy and Leron have been doing. Most private label sellers, this is what our goal is to do, because like Andy mentioned, not only are you building your brand on Amazon, but you potentially could sell your brand for millions of dollars. We know people, we've heard of people recently who've sold a private label brand that they've built in the last 12, 18, 24 months for over $1 million, which I know sounds crazy, and I'm not saying this is going to happen to everyone, or this is what we're looking to do, but it is possible. And that's just, again, the golden opportunity, some of the crazy things that we have to deal with, or have the opportunity with. So Leron, I'm going to have you come back on again. I'm going to have you talk us through a little bit of the research phase that we've talked about, a cool resource that we have for everyone. If you haven't downloaded our private label product scorecard, we'll talk about this here. It's a free resource that we have for everyone. But Leron, just walk us through, we have these 3 things here. Walk us through, why these are so important and what we're looking for in potential private label products. So we'll just see the first one here.
Sure. So, when you're looking for a private label product, you don't really want to reinvent the wheel, right? How do you bring a product to market that you're going to have success with? Well, you want to find products that already have customer demands, right? That people are already searching for. And so we use tools that tell us, give us that data, right? Amazon is really good, if you know about the bestseller rank, to give us the data so that we already know which customers are searching for what keywords and what products already have demands. And then, the next thing that we want to have is we want to have products that have a limited amount of competition, right? So we don't necessarily we want to have products that have demands, but at the same time, we don't want to have products that have, 500 listings of the exact same product, right? When people talk about private label, they talk about garlic press, right? Because there was some point that, somebody teaching private label started out showing garlic presses and barbecue gloves, and they used it as an example. And what did all the lazy sellers did? They went out and did those products, garlic presses and barbecue gloves. So don't sell those products. So you want to have a product with limited competition. And then lastly, you want to have a product that has good margins, right? So you don't want to look for those products that sell for $7 or $8 because we have FBA fees and Amazon fees. And so you want to find products that, you could buy at a, at a certain price and have a, 35, 45, 55% margin so that you have profit and you have room to spend on advertising and launching the product. So those are really the key things we want to look for when we're, in the research phase.
Awesome. And so again, like I mentioned, that private label scorecard, it's a free resource we have. It was available in the free training series that we put out just recently. If you don't have that and you want that afterwards, go ahead and you can put in the Amazing Freedom group, ask a question about it, and we'll get you that free scorecard. And basically, it just helps you as you're doing your research. It helps you, it's just a guide, but it helps you determine if the product that you're looking at, if it has potential, or if it's a, we put those smiley faces and we say, stay away if it doesn't meet the criteria, or if it's 5 stars, it's a winner. So it's a helpful resource. It's just a guide, so it's not perfect. It doesn't work the same for every product, but I think it's something good to go through as you're doing private label research for your potential private label product. So I think that'll be helpful. Here we have a couple of free resources for everyone. And this is something I would recommend. Get your pen and paper. Don't go to it right now. I mean, you can, but I would recommend going to it after the webinar is over. But this first one here is called randomniche.com. So write that down, everyone. Randomniche.com. What this is you might think to yourself, where do I even start? Like we just heard from Sharon. She said she stumbled upon one night. She was, I think she said laying in bed and looking at her phone, stumbled upon this awesome niche that now she's bringing multiple 3, 4, 5 products into this niche because it just is, it has that demand Leron just talked about, limited competition and good margins. It met all those criteria. So now she's, really going to dominate this niche or, try to do well in it. Randomniche.com. All it is, super basic, simple website, but you go to it and every time you go to it or refresh the page, it just shows a bunch of Amazon keywords, different niches that you can look at. Basically, if you don't know where to start, just go here. You can click on random niches and refresh and get different ones. Different keywords is basically what they are. And they can help you just evaluate some of the products on there. Say, hey, is there good customer demand for these products? Is there limited competition? Does it appear like the margins are going to be pretty good? Can I source this product on Alibaba from China for a decent margin? Those are the kind of questions you're going to be asking yourself, and then maybe use that scorecard we just mentioned take it one step further. Another one is called Google Trends. Most of us probably have heard Google Trends. This is basically just, you can go to Google Trends and look at it once a day or once a week and just see what's trending, and then see if you could potentially fulfill a trend that's out there. And if you watched the second research video in the free private label training series we just put out, guys, the 4-part series, what's a lot of times even more viable research method is to look for something that's trending and then try to private label an accessory to that item. So you find a popular trend and then private label an accessory or something that's compatible with it. So those are 2 free resources that write them down. Just free little things that you can use that might help you get started.
Nate, I'll just jump in here. I just recently in the last couple of weeks, I bought one of these Nespresso, espresso makers. And then, today I was looking on Amazon for something that holds in little pods. And as I'm looking at it, I'm seeing some private label products, and Nespresso just came out with a different size pod. And I'm thinking, wow, like that's something, that people are looking for that's compatible with the espresso machine. Like, oh, maybe that's a good, something to private label. And then, being able to put in the bullet points compatible with Nespresso might lead to some, keywords that people are searching for that get my product found. And, it's just an idea of things that are compatible with branded products. They have a lot of potential.
Yeah, and so that's a real product that you were really going to search for to buy, and you saw private label sellers listed on there, right? So that's cool to see. And so Leron, I'm going to actually have Lori come on here. So another successful private label seller and student. Lori, we're going to have you come on. And Leron, I'll let you ask her a couple questions. what she's been able to do, and then her experience with private label, and then also with Amazon sponsored ads. Because guys, if you haven't heard of, the Amazon sponsored ads, if you're not familiar with it, just the power, again, like we talked about, how many people are going first to Amazon to search, the power then of being able to put your Amazon sponsored ad right at the top. So hopefully we can get Lori on here. Lori, let us know if you're available here.
Hi.
Hi, Lori. So Lori is a private label seller. She actually invented her own product in the beauty category, and Lori's been featured in Forbes a couple times for women-owned businesses. She's a successful seller. So Lori, why don't you tell us a little bit about how long you've been selling on Amazon and how you got into private label?
Well, I started selling on Amazon about 2.5 years ago. At the time, I had just seen some random Facebook posting about people making money on Amazon, and I wanted to learn more about it. And I started out like most people doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, and I thought it was a dream come true to be able to go out shopping and sell stuff. I thought this is going to be so much fun, and it was at first. But I live in New York City, and most people know that when you live in New York City, you don't have a car and you don't have access to huge stores. So I found myself, going to these stores and carrying a lot of stuff, taking cabs and trains and all this stuff. I didn't have a car to just load stuff in, and I learned very quickly that this wasn't something that was really sustainable for me, and not something personally for me that I could scale. I actually had taken a course before Andy even had a course, and it taught me the basics, I guess, of how to, do retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, and how to list products. It was very, very basic. Once I realized that it wasn't sustainable for me, the RA and OA, I realized that because, like you said, I had invented a product maybe 8 years ago and this was really before Amazon became what it is today. And I invented the product, and I tried to sell it through infomercials and more like traditional marketing methods of days past. And I created my own website, and it was a disaster. I mean, it had even been on Good Morning America, and even with all of that exposure, I couldn't get it to take off. So I shelved the product, and I went back to work. So after doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, I realized, okay, now I know a little bit about selling on Amazon. I said, maybe I can bring my product back to life. And I did, which was remarkable because, again, this was something that I had created myself that I thought, I would never be successful with. And I think that's really a testament to how amazing Amazon is, that, I invented something and I made it a success, not by using the old ways of marketing and advertising, but rather through the power of Amazon. Now, when I first listed it on Amazon, I still hadn't taken Andy's course yet, and it was doing okay. And it really wasn't until I took Andy's course where now I really learned how to list my product the right way, and, really just use keywords and images and, all the great things and in-depth information that Andy's course offers. It wasn't until then that it was like, wow, this wasn't just like I was selling a couple of units a day at first. Now I really started making a living off of selling my own invented product, which again was something, I never thought would happen.
Right.
So that was amazing. And then of course, so now I've been selling my product and it's one product. I've been selling it for the past couple of years.
Yeah. So let's jump into what you did recently to kind of.
So I got to a certain point now. Had gotten to a certain point, and I was happy with it, making a good living off of just like one product and building out my product line. But the game changer now at this point, now that I had gotten my business to a certain point, I mean, I was spending a lot of money on sponsored ads. It's a necessary evil of Amazon. And so I took your course, Laron, or your coaching. And wow, I mean, I can't believe these past 2 years how much money I've been throwing in the garbage using Amazon sponsored ads incorrectly. I mean, it's not that before I wasn't getting results. I was getting results and I was getting sales through my sponsored ads, but it wasn't until, you know, you opened my eyes and saw how much money I was throwing away on, you know, by not knowing how to read the advertising reports, not knowing how to use negative keywords, not understanding the right keywords I should be using. So, you know, people think that PPC is easy and they can figure it out on their own. Well, I was selling on Amazon for 2 years with pretty good success. And now, I mean, not only am I selling more because you helped me find the, you know, better and more efficient keywords that convert, but now I'm not spending all this money on keywords that weren't even related to my product at all. So now I'm spending less on sponsored ads and selling more because of the keywords you helped me uncover.
And how many units a day were you selling in the fourth quarter of this one product?
120 to 100
Wow.
to over 200 a day.
Wow.
And when I started 2 years ago, before Andy's course, I was selling like 5 a day, and I was like, "Woohoo! This is amazing!" Yeah. And now, you know, between you and Andy, you know, fourth quarter, I was selling $200 of one product.
200 units, right?
200 units, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us.
We got to tell everybody what your product is, Lori, because everyone that's watching this webinar, you need to go to Amazon and buy Lori's product. I have one right here. So talk about it a little bit, Lori.
It's called My Soulmate. It's SOLEMAT. And I used to be a dancer, and I came up with it by accident in the shower. I married a pumice stone and a soap. I combined 2 products in one, and people seem to really like it. So thank God. And actually, what's really great now, yeah, there's the soap side, the yellow, and the white side is the pumice stone. So I married them together. And what's really amazing about this, and again, the power of Amazon, you make a great Vanna White, by the way. Or the girls that were on The Price is Right. You do that really well. What's really great and so powerful is I actually created this product where, you know, people weren't even necessarily looking for this product. So I had to figure out how to create a listing so people would find it without looking for that specific thing, because there is no specific thing like that. So thanks to Andy's course, like it taught me how to get people to discover my product that weren't even looking for it. And now, as a result of the success of this, I actually just launched another version of it, and called Foot Finish, which is more for like people with athlete's foot, but it's still the 2-in-1. And beyond that, now I'm getting into private label, where I'm building out the line of different kinds of foot products, of stuff that I didn't invent. But it's amazing because, you know, I've taken this one product and now I'm going to build a whole line of private label products around it.
That's awesome. You guys could do me a huge favor if you're getting value from this. The huge favor would be if you would go to that link and if you would buy one of Lori's Soulmates. They're awesome gifts. My daughter uses it every day. And so we have a supply of like 10 in my closet. They're phenomenal product. Please go to that link and buy hers. Help her out. We're helping another seller out.
Thanks, Andy. You'll love it, I promise. You're the best.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Lori, for coming on. I mean, guys, that just shows you, again, what we were talking about, the power of, you know, you can pick a winning product, but not necessarily do well with it if you're not taking the right steps to launch your product or the keywords, the listing, like Lori just talked about. So that's powerful to see what having the right product combined with the right methods of selling on Amazon can really do. And then obviously it's a really cool product too, so that helps out. So thank you, Lori. We appreciate you being on here as well and sharing your experience, your story, telling people how you can invent a product and do really well, but you don't necessarily have to invent a product. Like Lori said, she's now building out other products, private label, that she hasn't invented. There's just so many things that we can do on Amazon, but building a brand is what Lori's been doing either way. She's building her brand up. So that's awesome. All right, guys, time for giveaway number 2. we're going to give away another headset here. So we already had one winner, Wayne. We're going to have a second winner here. This is another question, so everyone get ready. Get your fingers on the keyboard. Fastest typers. We will see who will win this. So the second question is, where in Mexico did Liron attend a mastermind event this last Q4?
Holy
So
cow.
that was quick.
Kevin.
All right, so it was Cabo, Mexico is where Liron attended a high-end.
Oh, I don't know about that now. He wrote Cabo. I think it goes to Jose.
Oh no!
You got a typo, Kevin.
Oh man, we had a potential winner, but he spelled Cabo.
He spelled Cabo wrong.
He was going too fast, so I understand why. So all right, so that is where Liron attended his high-end mastermind event this last Q4 in Mexico. Lucky, it looked really nice, so that's cool. So all right, that's the second winner. It goes tonight to who'd you say it goes to, Liron?
Jose Rubio.
Okay, Jose. So if you can
sorry, Kevin.
If you can personal message Andy after the webinar and just tell him your address and that you won. All right, great. So let's continue on, guys. And by the way, we'll have one more giveaway at the end that is just a random pick we'll do from everyone that we see that's still on Zoom here. So if you're still on Zoom at the end, you will have a chance as long as you're not Wayne or Jose. We'll give this a third person. All right, well, let's continue, guys. We looked at the research phase. We looked at what's so important, finding the right product. Thank you, Lori, for sharing with us. The next thing, and a big question we have, is about finding the right supplier. So where are we going to get our products made? And I'm gonna bring Liron. I'm gonna ask you a few questions in just a second, but basically, importing our products from overseas is still the most viable solution. We're going to talk to Liron and see why he thinks that's partly why that's the reason. But sites like Alibaba.com, if you never heard of that, check it out after the webinar tonight. Alibaba.com connect us, average people or average sellers, with manufacturers in China. Thousands and thousands and thousands of manufacturers and different products that we can potentially private label or put our own label on over in China. And 95% of suppliers, we would say, this is just an estimate, but are easy to work with and have English speaking or at least English typing reps. And we don't personally usually speak with any reps. You can just communicate over Skype or the Alibaba chat system. And that's what makes it easy, is because they have reps that can work with you. And what's really powerful is that you can order a sample from a manufacturer all the way in China within an hour of speaking with them. A lot of times only spend $50 to $100 on that sample and then have it shipped to you express. And a lot of times they'll get to you within a week. So you can talk to a rep within an hour, order a sample for them right through PayPal. Usually most suppliers will take it. So it's real easy as long as you have a PayPal account. And then you can get that product sent to you within a week. So that's powerful if you think about that, guys. Just the ability to connect with a supplier, even though they're overseas. And again, we kind of get in that fear, objection, excuse in there, it's scary working with a manufacturer that's in China. But the reason that's, we can still get a sample delivered to us within a week. And Liron, what's been your experience? Because this is probably the most common question that we'll get as far as finding suppliers goes. Mm-hmm. Why work with overseas suppliers as opposed to a U.S. supplier? Because ideally, right, we would all rather just work with a U.S. supplier or, wherever your own country you live at. But, for most of us, a U.S. supplier, and it's just close to us and it's easier, right? Like, why do you go all the way to a China rep? Yeah,
it's a great question, right? Because you would think, why go to China when I can, have my product made here? And actually, recently experienced this because I have a brand that I'm building. And part of that brand, I'm actually working with somebody who's kind of consulting me on how to build the brand out, through my own website and kind of make it bigger. And so we sort of brainstormed on, let's make a small collection of products for the brand that's made in the US. Well, so she's been reaching out to help me find some potential suppliers, which has not been easy. But, the first response that we've gotten from a supplier is, sure, we'll give you a price. How many are you looking to order? 5,000 or 10,000? Now, that same product I make in China, my minimum order is 50 units. Okay, but the U.S. Factory wants at least 5,000 minimum order. And so it makes it very, very difficult to, to order in the US. So that's one big barrier to entry. And the second one is just finding factories and suppliers. I mean, there are brands that produce their products in the US, but they may not necessarily want to produce for you, or for a competitor. They may not want a private label for you. So it's just a lot more difficult. Going on Alibaba, literally I can go to Alibaba. I'll go on 8, 9 o'clock at night if I'm doing searches for a product. There are chats there. I can go on, I can literally speak to the supplier, move the conversation over to Skype, and within an hour have a sample ordered, PayPal them $50 or whatever it is for a sample, and have it here within a week. And they're just very responsive and easy to work with. And, mostly they have English speaking reps, like, college graduates, and it's just super easy. So I'm all for manufacturing in the US, but I'm also all for, making it easy to source a product, get it at a price where I can make a good margin and not have to order, 10,000 units. So I just go, with the least easiest barrier to entry in terms of making my products. And, it's really, China is just really a lot easier than going anywhere else. It's just kind of the reality. So if I could source a product easily from the moon, I would source it there. I just look to source products from places that are easy, that I can source at a good price.
And Liron, would you say that just, the word China, or the, people hearing sourcing from China, is just that fear over the US, even though in your opinion it's easier?
Oh yeah, it's a lot easier, but people find it daunting to, okay, how am I going to trust somebody to send my money over there? How am I going to get the product from China? Do I have to ship by boat? Do I need a bond? What about customs and duties? And all that stuff is really kind of fear, because once you actually start doing it, it's actually really, really easy. Obviously, these are things that we teach you, and in our Facebook group, we have contacts for all the shipping and freight forwarders and bonds and everything that you need. But at the end of the day, it's also very easy to figure it out yourself if you just take action and do it. But the fear is that it sounds daunting. And for me also, my first several shipments I did by air because I was scared of boat shipment, and what was involved. But then once I did it, I just saw like it's nothing. It's just like anything else. You do it 1 or 2 times and it becomes, second nature and easy.
Awesome. All right. And so next I'm going to talk about the launch, guys. So this is the 4th phase. And this is, like I said earlier, is a big one, because if you bring a winning product like Lori had, but you don't launch it correctly, it doesn't matter necessarily. No customers are going to notice your brand because they're not towards the top of search, where most customers don't go past the first page of search, we always say. So that's what's really important. And when you first bring a product to market, nobody knows what your brand is. So we need to use strategies to boost our visibility. That's what's really important here, because if we don't get our products visible in front of customers, it doesn't matter how good of a product it is. So we need a way to bring products to the first page of search. And this is what really Liron and Andy have developed, and they have a new proven launch method that has been consistently ranking new products on the first page of search. We just heard from Sharon a little bit ago how her and Andy were able to bring a product. She doesn't even know how Andy did it actually yet. She's in the new course, so she'll know here soon. But they were able to bring it to the first page of search in just a couple days. So that's what's really powerful. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up. And Andy will tell you, it breaks like our hearts when we'll have people come to us, people personal message Andy, and they say, "Oh, Andy, I just brought over, some more units, but I don't know how to actually launch it on Amazon." And it's like, okay, well, you should have done a little bit of homework at least. Like we said before, it's not that you have to be super smart. We're not building rocket ships here. This is not really difficult. I think that anyone that's here tonight listening to this, or anyone watching this, is able to do this. But it's just about having the right information. And then it's not that it's, something that's extremely difficult after that. So we're going to hear from someone else that just recently launched their product. Andy, if you want to come on, and if Todd, if you are available, we'll just have Andy ask you a couple more questions. Todd's our last awesome guest tonight. Todd is a really cool seller who really has a lot of has an interesting and cool Amazon, selling career so far. So Andy, if you want to bring Todd on and then just talk to him about his recent launch.
Sure. So Todd, just first of all, are you on here?
Yep.
Great. Yep. If you can maybe try to turn up your audio a little bit. I don't know if you can do that on your mic set or not. me just give you a little background about Todd. So Todd actually went to the same high school that my wife did, so I've known him for a while. We had him and his wife over for dinner. I don't know, Todd, when this was, probably like 6 years ago. And at the time, Todd was actually working at Big Lots. It was actually when I just first started selling on Amazon. So he was working at Big Lots. He didn't know that I was selling on Amazon. I actually hadn't shared it with him because I was doing it kind of as a hobby. I wasn't doing it full time. But I remember asking Todd like a million questions, you know, because he was a manager there, trying to get like the inside track of how I might be able to get some deals or discounts. And so that's kind of my first memorable moment of talking with you, Todd. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And so I was trying to get the inside track on Big Lots on how to score some deals when I was doing retail arbitrage. And it was probably about 2 or 3 years after that when Todd started selling on Amazon. So Todd, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your story? If you're in the Facebook groups, you'll see Todd post tremendous encouragement and positive posts on how he's been able to grow his business. So talk to us a little bit about, you know, what your first year was, what this year has been, and then what you look forward to going forward.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I started December 14th or December 8th of 2014. I'll be honest, I was dead broke. I owed my landlord $3,500. I owed my best friend $3,800, and I remember hearing about this at a flea market, and I remember taking my rent money and buying products, and they all instantly sold within hours. So that's what hooked me. But my first year, I did 200,000 RA. I hustled. I was a Walmart manager for 9 years, so I talked to a lot of Walmart managers, got stuff marked down that was on clearance already, made deals, made relationships. But a lot of retail arbitrage. That's all I did my first year. And looking back now, and I'm not just saying this because Andy's showing a course or anything, I wish at the end of my first year I would have started private labeling. I remember talking to Andy on the phone, should I start? And he said yes, and I didn't. I was so comfortable doing RA that I didn't want to switch it up. So about halfway through 2016, I did pay for Andy's other course, and I watched all the videos. I still didn't pull the trigger, and I was very excited, but I didn't pull the trigger. And then finally, Andy was auctioning off an item in one of his groups, and I bought it. Okay, it was just pure faith because I knew Andy, and I actually bought the item off Liren, and I was nervous. I mean, I am nervous. I paid $6,000 for an idea, and I'm scared. I mean, I was really scared. At the time, I was probably making $12,000, $14,000 a month doing RA, but I was really running around. But the reason why I bought this and really thought about private labeling, now get this, I was in the hospital over a year. I was in the hospital 8 times over a year for diverticulitis. I would spend 5 to 10 days in the hospital, and when I was in the hospital, I couldn't source. That scared me. It made me realize that I don't have the right business model. Okay, so I've worked with Liren on launching this item, and I'll tell you guys, I'm not going to say what he does. I've seen it. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't buy the course just for how Liren launches items and Andy, you are missing out. We launched an item, and within 5 days, I was on the first page. It might have been 4 days. I ordered 1,000 pieces, and I sold out of 900 pieces in like 10, 12 days, something like that. I had to raise my price $8 just to slow it down because I didn't want to run out. I've already ordered 1,700 more pieces. They'll be on their way at the beginning of or the middle of this month. But everybody is hearing me all right, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. But it's unbelievable how you go through 900 pieces just like that. My cost was $10.30 landed. That means going from Alibaba to Amazon landed, and I was profiting almost $11 each. And I now know how to get my cost down $2 more each. Okay, I even made a mistake, but I'm gonna have my cost down $2 more each. This item has the potential to do 30 grand a month profit. Now, this item has so many variations to build up a brand. It's crazy. I mean, the number one seller in this item's got to be making $50,000 a month.
Todd, I should have charged you more.
You know, when I talked to a gentleman tonight that was asking me about the course on the phone. I give people my cell phone number, so please don't everybody ask me to call them tonight, please. But I was talking to a guy who said, "Is Andy's course worth it tonight?" And I said, "Listen, I don't like to text. Please call me." I don't even know if the guy's on this tonight. I have no idea. But what I did say is, I've known Andy for a few years. I went to high school with his wife, and I've known Andy's character. And if you know anything about the school that we went to in high school, it's not easy doing what Andy and his wife did, raising 15 kids. But knowing Andy's character, he gives more than he really needs to. He over delivers, and sometimes that's scary for him. But Andy does come out and over deliver. That's why I would do anything for him. He asked me to be on this tonight. I'm like, yes, easily, gladly. And I'm just learning, just getting to meet Liren now for 2-3 months, and Liren's asking me, what are my goals for the year? Liren's really making me think out of the box. What are my next ideas on items? And and I can trust them telling them my items. I don't got to worry about them stealing my items, anything. They're always out to encourage people. And when I can tell people, if you don't get this course, whether it be money or this or that, if you don't get this course now, you are going to miss out. Because I look back now, if I would have just started this a year earlier, where I'd be now. I'm phasing out of RA totally by March. I may have my wife do my one route because I have a lot of setups with people, but there's really no need to. One more thing I wrote down earlier is, I love RA. I could go out 12 hours and shop all day, and it does not feel like I'm working at all. I thoroughly enjoy it. But when you get to look at this, look at the big picture now. I'm not bragging. I'm not anywhere near the arena than most people, but I'm making well over $20,000 a month right now. That's not even counting the private label item, okay? And that's after 2 years. And that's just starting broke. And I got all my bills paid. I live in way below my means. But what I can tell you is Amazon's growing so big. Now, you're talking to a guy that managed Walmart for 9 years. I live, breathe, ate Walmart. Amazon is growing so big. This is your one chance in life. It comes around once in a lifetime to really set yourself up to be a multimillionaire. And the sad part is there's so many people that will take a course and not even watch the videos. The sad people is there's so many people that will watch the videos, but they'll aim, never shoot. I know this course. I've watched the videos a million times. Now that an item is launched, a product's launched, it really was not that hard. It really was not that hard. There was times I had to call Andy, like, listen, you need to call me in the next 24 hours. He probably got sick of my phone calls. But he always got back to me within a day or two. Hey, what's up, Todd? What can I help you with? And that's the kind of guy I want to pay a course for. Someone that can ease my mind. When you're handing $12,000 to China, that gets a little scary. And like Liren said, he wanted to stay away from a boat. My first items on the boat, all I kept thinking is, dear God, please don't sink. Dear God, please don't sink. But really, these two people and Nate, they're all incredible people, like-minded, have great integrity. They're always thinking forward, But that's really all I got.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Todd. Folks, one of the biggest things that I found about the course is just the community and the constant encouragement of the other members of the course. And Todd, I say this all the time, but you say how we've encouraged you, but you've encouraged us tremendously. Someone just said it in the chat. They said, Todd's awesome. He's helped everyone in the Facebook group. So
yeah. I try my best to give back. I'll never forget. This is how naive I was. I was at a flea market in Harrisburg. And some old man selling metal signs, like comic book signs. And I remember him telling me, oh, do you know about Amazon? I'm like, oh, that's that book. I didn't even want to listen to the guy. He took the time to write down Amazon FBA on a sticky note. I threw it in my wallet. And the guy was saying this crazy amount of money he's making. And I remember walking away. I'll never forget this. I said to my wife, that guy is freaking crazy. Why the hell would he be at a flea market if he's making that kind of money? Shame on me. I found that little note about 3 weeks later, and he also wrote down, watch YouTube videos. I probably would have never, if I wouldn't have watched those videos, and I'm watching this crazy amount of money people are making, and I thought, there's no way. There's no way. And how naive. I went back and given that guy $100 gift cards to restaurants and stuff. I can't thank him enough. But by all means, do something for yourself. Pull the trigger. Make it happen.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Todd. We'll let you get back to your family.
Todd pumps me up so much every time he speaks.
All right. Thanks a lot for coming on, Todd.
No problem.
All right, thanks, Todd. That was powerful. I like how Todd talks about making 20,000 a month like it's nothing now, right, guys? So that's what we have, and it's awesome to see Todd's success with private label recently. I think most people that have seen him in the group know he's an awesome RA guy and soon to be awesome, really knowledgeable PL guy. So thank you, Todd. Leron, one question that people might have getting into this is why, if this is such a success, why do we even teach other people how to private label as well? If this is such a gold mine, if e-commerce and Amazon is such a gold mine, why do you want to help other people really when it comes to private label?
Sure. So I'll turn on my video here. So so a lot of people think, or a lot of people who sell information are just kind of selling the shovels, right? But they're not necessarily always doing the digging themselves. But Nate and Andy and myself, we're all deep in digging every single day in our businesses. And so why would I want to share or teach other people? Well, there's a few reasons. The first one is when I teach people private label, they're not my competition. They're not launching the same products I am. There's millions of different products, ideas out there. And, it doesn't take anything from me to teach. But, the big benefit that comes from teaching is that I get to be part of a community of people. And, when I share stuff with people, then the people in our community and in our Facebook group that are learning from us, and they pick up a tip that I don't know about, they come back and they share that with me. When I bet if Todd picks up something awesome tomorrow, he's gonna message me, right? Because I've shared stuff with him, and so we share that within the community, and that makes us better sellers ourselves. And so we think that not only are we selling the shovels, but we're really good at digging, and that if private label is your goal for 2017, then take action on it and, do it. Whether or not you join our course or not, you can learn in other ways, but take action, if that's your goal. Don't just kind of look at it as something you want to do. If it's something you really want to do, then, take action around getting a product launched, and sourcing products as soon as possible.
And guys, I'll say this because Leron and Andy are too humble to say it. Not only do they dig themselves and sell, and then also, give the shovels out or sell the shovels, it's because their shovels are really, really good. Okay. So Andy and Leron, they're too humble to say it themselves, but they're really good at digging and they have really good shovels. So it's really a win-win when, like Leron just said, when they are able to do this and have other people get right alongside with them, digging with them, to go along with that analogy. So, all right, guys. So we just went through all this. We heard from Sharon, we heard from Lori, we heard from Todd. Now, how about you? I'm going to say, first off, I want to say who this program, who private label, who Andy's course, who this is not for, okay? To be honest, just straight up, we want to tell you who this is not for. This is not for you if you have $500 or less to your name, probably. So we just heard from Todd. Todd was being honest when he said he was pretty much broke when he started selling on Amazon. If Todd would have came to Andy and Andy would have been, today, Andy would have told him, honestly, I don't think private label is right for you right now. You should probably go into RA or build it, or, do another job, whatever it is, build it some capital. Now, that being said, we do have people in our group, in our course. Don Schaefer's one of them, who has brought products to market for $500 or even less than that. And Leron, I believe you have too recently, have brought products to market for less than $500. But typically, if you have $500 or less to your name, this is probably not going to be for you. And our recommendation would just be to build up some capital. At this point, doesn't mean that you can't do it 3 months from now, but that might be a constraint for you at this point. Now, people are going to have more than that and still use money as an objection or excuse, like we said before. And at that point, it's probably the fear thing coming into place. But if that's truly the case, that's what I will say about that. Who this is not for. This is not for you if you're not really committed to making private label part of your business. So we had some people in 2016 come to us, say they wanted to do private label, but they were not truly committed. And most of us here, who here, if you can just put in chat, who here have you told before that you sold on Amazon, if you're a current seller, have you told someone, I sell on Amazon, and they told you, oh, that sounds really awesome. I want to sell on Amazon too. Can you show me how? And then you might even, has anyone had someone say that to them? I have like 10 people a week, it seems like, tell me they want to sell on Amazon too if I tell them. And at first I was really excited to tell everyone. And sometimes now I don't tell people because I know they're going to say they want to sell. And it's not because I don't want the competition. It's because I don't want to re-explain everything again, like to every person. And here's the thing though. I'm willing to bet that most people, I'm seeing people saying yes, lots of people in the chat. I'm willing to bet that most of those people, and I've heard Todd Day actually say this before, that he'll teach people, or he'll be willing to teach them or say, you can shadow me. And it seems like 9 times out of 10, people say they want to sell on Amazon or they want a private label or retail arbitrage, whatever it is, but they're not willing to commit to it. So guys, if this is you here, if you're currently selling or you're thinking about selling on Amazon because you know it's a golden opportunity, but you're not truly committed to it, I don't think this is going to be for you, because we had, like I said, we've had people come to us recently and they just don't do anything. So this is not for you then. And then thirdly, this isn't for you if you think private label is a get rich quick or easy plan, because guys, this is still work. Like we just mentioned, we're digging with our shovels here every day still. It's still work. This doesn't mean that you can't make money quick. Like Todd Day has been selling for 2 years and making awesome money. I would say most of us would probably say he's making good money. Yeah.
Nate, can you share, Andy shared with us somebody who texted him today about the course. Can you share what they asked? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to remember what they asked. No.
About if they need to do any of the work.
Oh yeah. So if part of the course, there's still work involved in this. So I want to make this clear here. Yeah, this is not a get rich or easy plan. You still have to do work so taking this course, I'll show you what the course is involved in just a few seconds. It doesn't mean we're going to do everything for you. Todd Day was able to do work recently and launch his private label product and have help from Liron and Andy, but he still had to do work himself. He was still negotiating, talking to suppliers. So this isn't we do everything for you. So we just want to be upfront and honest. We don't want to have anyone think that this is, we're doing everything for you, or a get rich quick or easy. There's still work involved, but there's possibility to get rich and get really rich. Like Todd just said, multimillionaire, if you do things right.
What we do in the course is give you a roadmap, and it's up to you to follow the plan.
Sure. That's a great way to put it. So next, let's talk about who this is for. This is for you if you believe in the private label process. So we just heard from Sharon, Lori, Todd. I think we've made them believers. They believe. I think you can tell from what they talked about here that they are believers. So if you believe in the private label process I think if you believe in it, you will be committed, then this is for you. This is also for you if you want to network with other successful sellers. So we just started a brand new group centralized around the new course. That has been awesome already. And I'll show you in just a few minutes, the group, actually a little bit of it. It's awesome for networking. If you want to network with other successful sellers, then we believe that this is for you. And then thirdly, if you want to drastically cut the learning curve to success, because as we mentioned before, time might be one of your excuses or your objections. So you might be objecting to doing this because you don't have enough time. Well, that's truly going to be the case if you don't cut the learning curve and learn from the experiences that Andy, Liron, many of the people in the group that we have that goes along with the course. If you don't cut the learning curve, then you can use up one of your most valuable resources, your time.
Who here follows Tony Robbins? Say yes or no in the chat. Or is a fan of Tony Robbins?
Yeah, so Tony Robbins, I think a lot of people know him. He has a lot of great motivational quotes. Nice guy, good business-minded, and helps a lot of people personally. So Tony Robbins has some good advice for us here, I believe. He says, if you want to be successful, find someone who has achieved the result you want and then copy what they do, and you'll achieve the same results. So like Liron just mentioned before, what we're doing with this course is we're handing you a roadmap, so that you can copy basically what Andy and Liron and myself and others in the group have done for success, and basically see their success and then copy them to achieve those same results. And that's really what we want to do here. Again, it's not going to be, it's not doing everything for you. It's handing you the roadmap so that you can copy that same success. And guys, what I want to do at this point is I want to show you actually what's involved with the course. We've been talking about the course, and that wasn't my intention actually to keep mentioning the course so much, but I do want to mention it here at the end now. I want to show what is involved with the course so that you can see what's in there. I'm just going to take us into the training area real quick here actually. So bring this over, Liron, if you can just confirm that you can see this here.
Yep.
So this is the actual training area, guys, of the course. This is what, when you sign up, this is what you're going to get access to. And this is just the training modules for just the Amazing Freedom course. So there's actually the PPC course that's involved as well. That's all about sponsored ads. But the first section, basically, I'll just run through this real quick because we're running a little long now here. I don't want to take too much of your time. Basically, we have a group that is also associated with this that I'll show you. But basically, let's just look here, guys. The first phase of the course, we can just see here lots and lots of content like Todd mentioned before. This whole phase, like we already talked about, is all about the research. And so when you go through this, basically this shows you, we're actually dive deep into our specific strategies. And so like Leron and Andy and myself will go through our actual strategies of finding products. And you can watch these videos. There's quite a few of them in here, our specific strategies of finding potential products. We give you homework. We tell you, this is what we think you can do to find a potential product. And really, it doesn't need to be the hardest part, even if it is a essential part to having success. We basically give you our roadmap of how we find products. And guys, this has been working for us and for hundreds of people who've been following Andy. And the honest truth is that it still works. It's been working all through 2016. It's how Leron found the product that Todd has sold to 1,000 units in just a couple weeks or days, really. These strategies still work for finding products. So if you feel like, if you're making an excuse or an objection to your ability to find a product, use these methods that we teach in here, and these methods are still working. Next, we go through all the technical details we can see here of, I'm not going to go through all the videos, guys. There's lots of videos here, but all the details of finding a supplier, negotiating with the supplier, making sure that you can get your product made right. That's in there. Next, we talk about the pre-launch, all the stuff that's involved with that. The launch, this is our secret sauce here, guys. This is how to launch with big results. This is what Leron and Andy have been able to do with Sharon and Todd. This is what's really been really helpful recently to getting big results with launching. So that's in the launch section. And then we talk about building your brand for long-term success. So I just wanted to go through that because I think it's helpful for you to maybe see. There's a lot of content in there, and you probably can't even see it just it's hard to tell with me just going through that quickly, but hopefully that shows you that. And so there's also the PPC. I'll just briefly go to that, guys. I won't take much time, but there's also the PPC course that Leron put together, all about Amazon sponsored ads. And similarly, the same thing, guys. Lots and lots of videos about how you can set up your PPC campaigns, how to set up manual campaigns, how to use the negative keywords, all the stuff that Lori talked about when she was talking to make sure that your PPC campaigns are set up right. So these are the two main sections that you get with the course. And I just want to show everyone real quickly here, if I can, if you haven't watched our training series, just want to go through what's involved with the course. Basically, you get the 50 plus training modules that we just looked at that are all about the Amazing Freedom private label course. That's all included. That's obviously the bulk of the information to get you started private labeling. Extremely helpful, as Todd mentioned earlier. We think it's going to be really helpful doing that. Next is the PPC course that Leron, brand new this year, he's put together. Leron has taken other training courses. He's coached people on PPC, really knowledgeable. And having this right, like Lori, I think Lori put it perfectly. It's not only that you're saving yourself money, you're also increasing your sales. So it's a win-win situation if you use PPC how it's intended to be used and then use it the right way. And then next, we also have a super cool bonus here, guys, the Private Label Inner Circle Collective Group. This is a brand new group that we put together. Super awesome group that we think is going to be extremely helpful and has already been super helpful. So I just want to actually go into Facebook and show you guys. We already have over 100 members in here, people joining the course. This is going to be extremely helpful for networking. We can actually see all the people in here who have already posted videos of their goals, what they've been doing with private label recently. I think you can see this as we're going through a ton. This group hasn't even been around for a day yet, or a little over a day now. It's been around, and so we can see a ton of the information, a ton of the cool people that are going to be in here. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about networking with other sellers, guys. This is the group that's going to be extremely helpful in not only learning the process that the course teaches you, but then seeing what other people are implementing and how you can do it as well. So that's an extremely helpful thing that's included with the course. We also have a reviews mini course that's going to be focused on how you can get product reviews. This is going to be coming out as well as part of the course. It's a bonus mini course. We have a guided evaluation of your potential product. So again, the fear thing, you know, you might be afraid what if I don't bring the right product to market? Well, we're actually going to allow everyone that takes the course to submit their potential products to Andy, Leron, and myself for evaluation so that we can say, hey, we see an obvious flaw in your product. You know, there's way too much competition. Hey, you know, this might be a wrong thing. And this obviously isn't a guarantee that the product's going to do well, but if you watch the video, if you go to this link, amazingfreedomcourse.com/launch, and watch this video at the top, you know, Andy says that he's saved people literally tens of thousands of dollars in mistakes because he's evaluated their product. So it's extremely helpful. Fourth bonus is you're going to have access to all the past webcasts and Q&As. And this is easily overlooked. A lot of people just say like, oh, is that really that helpful? Well, Andy spent a lot of time over the last 2 years learning the private label process. And he's, you know, documented a lot of that in webinars, kind of like this one, but even more focused just on like the strategies and the techniques and getting in there, what to do. And so all of those are going to be available to you, the ones that he's done over the past 2 years. And then there's checklists and action goals and competitive analysis, a ton of other stuff that we're going to have inside the group. And then another cool thing that's not even here, we're going to be bringing on guest experts, people that are going to be helping give us discounts to software, a lot of proprietary software and cool deals that we're going to have going on in the group. So guys, all of this is included in the course. This is what Todd and Sharon and Lori have been talking about. All of this. So what you can do, I'm going to go back here now to Tony. Guys, we actually have 2 different ways that you can sign up. One way you can sign up for a one payment of $19.97. The other way you can do it is 3 payments of $7.97. So we don't care whatever way you want to do it. Either way is fine with us. You can do it all up front, or you can spread it out over 3 months. And the way that you can do it, that you can do this, guys, I'm going to go back here, is you can just go to amazingfreedomcourse.com/launch. Like I just mentioned, that's going to bring you to that page I was just showing you with the video and the bonuses and everything that's involved on there. If you need to check out some more details, you can see that right on that page, amazingfreedomcourse.com/launch. Again, $19.97 if you want to pay it up right now, or 3 payments of $7.97 to get that. So now we're going to get to some of the questions. We had some questions in the chat box. If you guys have further questions that we want to ask right here. First, I don't know if we want to answer anything specifically. I think Leron's been answering specifically around the course. So you guys want to dive into some of the questions we've had about that people submitted before the webinar?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'll ask you guys the questions and I'll let you guys answer most of them probably here. So Jonathan Austin asked before the webinar, how much do you usually invest in your first run, or how do you know for sure it's worth investing?
You don't know for sure that it's worth investing, but if you follow the strategy of picking products, like we discussed, then you're finding products that already have customer demand. You're finding products that aren't too competitive, and if you're following the strategy of listing products, good photography, and the launch process, then you have a great chance for success. So, I've never had a product where I've had like a complete total loss of anything. I've had some products that have been very good successes, and I've had some stuff that hasn't panned out as well, but I've never lost, terribly. I've always just lowered the price and sold out of it. So, worst case, you break even or you take a small loss, and it may take you a little time to sell. But generally, if you follow the plan, you have a good chance for success.
Yeah, and is it worth investing? That's that fear objection, right? Like, should I?
Is it worth investing? Is the question your mind is asking you because it's fear. But if you follow the steps in the program of picking products, and you do it the right way, then you shouldn't have that fear.
And guys, as a side note, that's why we brought on Todd and Sharon and Lori tonight, to show you that other regular people just like us have been able to follow these steps, the roadmap, and find success. It's not just for them to brag about their success, which is obviously awesome that they've been successful, but it's to show you that they've followed the steps, and that's why they've been successful. All right, the next question here from Maggie Blackwell said, on average, how long does it take to get a product from research to live? So I think someone else asked that in chat. What's like the cycle from start to live?
It depends. From research to live, it depends, about probably 2 to 3 months, depending if you're getting it air shipped, it might be a couple months. If you're getting it by boat, it might be 3 months. Maggie, I think, also had a question, I think in the Q&A, Nate, she asked, how many hours of videos are there in the course. So maybe you could share that with people.
Okay, yeah, and I don't have that number off the top. So the private label course is like nearly 50 videos. I believe that one is over 10 hours of video. At least if you just the video time, if you were to watch it all through, it'd probably take you around that time. The PPC course is probably 3 to 5 hours. I'd have to. I don't know if you know for sure on that one, Liron. The actual, I know the number of videos. I don't know the actual length.
Yeah, I mean, I never added it up. I mean, there's several hours of content that's there.
Yeah, the private label one's going to take you longer to get through, but there's a lot of content in both of them. And then ongoing content in that private label inner circle group is going to be hours and hours weekly between all the videos we're going to do and ongoing webinars that we're going to do regularly, at least once a month, a webinar. It's going to be a detailed webinar, very specific to advanced strategies and actually what we're doing and what's working for us. So that's cool. A couple of questions, and I'm just reading here this. Nicholas asked about the course. I want to answer this one. He said, is this a course purchase for years to come, or does it end after a certain amount of months? So the actual access to the course material, the videos, is not limited. So Nicholas, you will have ongoing access to that. You also get 4 months free to the private label inner circle group, which is ongoing content. So that one, after 4 months, you could continue to be in if you want to pay for that one, but you will still have access to the videos on an ongoing basis. So don't feel like you won't get those, and you'll get updates to the Amazing Freedom course as they go. Any PPC updates as well. We don't know if there will be PPC updates for sure or not, but if there are, we'll go ahead and we'll add those into the PPC Blueprint course as well. And so hopefully I answered your updated materials with that last question, last answer I gave. All right. You guys want to do the next question here?
Yep.
All right. Chris asks, how do you handle trademark copyright, and do you complete the registration before ordering a product? So is that necessary? I know this is a question a lot of people ask. Do you have to do trademark and copyright before your PL product comes live?
I can answer that question. So you don't need to do trademark, or I wouldn't do any of that stuff until you have a product that's actually doing well and successful, because you don't want to just waste that money. And again, these are just things in your head that you think you need to do and that are difficult, but you don't need to do that. If you do have a product that's successful and you plan on building out some other products within that same niche or brand, then you could do a trademark. Andy and myself, we've both used, I think, like Trademarks 411. It's like $275, I think, for the government fee, and like they charge like $179, and you can trademark your brand name. It's very easy to do. And as far as patents and things like that, if you think there might be a patent, then it's something you do want to research. If the product is sort of more generic, it's probably not a major concern. But these are not things that I would deal with or worry about at all. Getting into private label, these are things to worry about once you have a successful product.
All right, awesome. These next couple questions, we might have to try to do a rapid fire because we're just getting a little long here. So let's try to rapid fire these next couple between Andy and Liron. And I know some of these questions are hard to do quickly, but we'll do the best we can. Bobby Miller asks, how seasoned of an FBA seller does one need to be before going to private label?
0. There are many people who start out with private label as a product. So you'll need to get a little bit of an understanding of things like sales rank, and but those are all things that we cover and that are very easy to learn, and you don't need to have any prior Amazon selling experience. You can start with private label.
Awesome. Jennifer.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, there's a couple here in the Q&A. Scott is asking, can you discuss liability issues with private labeling? Does an LLC shelter you personally? I'm not an attorney, but I do have an LLC, and I would think that a corporation separates you personally from liability, but that's probably a question for an attorney. It's definitely wise to have some kind of corporation set up. Jose Rubio is asking, do you cover the business side, LLC, taxes, insurance? So it's something that we definitely cover within the Facebook group and do a webinar on. As far as Nate, you can probably answer that one.
Yeah, so like Liron just said, none of us are lawyers or accountants. So what we're going to be doing, and we already have some potential people lined up in the group, is we're going to have people who are lawyers and accountants on, because guys, we can't give you professional tax or legal advice. So we have people lined up already who we are planning to bring into the group on a webinar who are professional CPAs and professional lawyers. So those people can give you the exact answers. So yes, we will cover those in the group. It's not necessarily in the course covered, laid out step by step, just because we legally don't have the certification to give those. But like Leron mentioned, if you set up an LLC, what you want to be careful to do is just separate your business side from your personal side. Make sure that's all separate, and so that you can keep yourself protected that way. So good questions there. Jennifer Butler asks, are there any best practices you can recommend to minimize others from hopping on your listing? So this is, I know, a big concern for people, and thankfully we kind of have a cool answer for that recently. So if you guys want to answer that.
Sorry, what was the question?
Best practices you can recommend to minimize others from hopping on your listing, your private label listing. How?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, I mean, Amazon has been rolling out brand gating. So it's not as much of a concern today as it was maybe, 6 months ago. But if your brand is not, meaning they'll block anyone from jumping on your listings. If you have brand registry, which we teach you how to do. But if you don't have that set up, then yeah, we do have a process where we send a cease and desist. We'll give you access to our exact cease and desist that we send to other sellers. And then the next step that I do is I will send out, I'll place an order, a test order from the other seller. But I don't wait like 2 months until it comes from China to get Amazon to take care of it, showing them that it's a fake. I send an email to that other seller with the order number, telling them that I placed an order. When the item comes in and it's not my branded, trademarked item, Amazon may suspend them once I show it to them. That usually gets them off the listing.
And something you didn't mention that's, it's just because it seems obvious to us, is one of the best ways you can do it up front is just having a good, your own logo right on the product.
Right.
It's gonna, differentiate your product, because a mistake we see some people bring in or do is they don't truly private label. They just bring a generic product over and don't label it. And then other people jump on because there's nothing to differentiate your product. So that's something Leron skipped it because it might seem obvious, but that's just, one way that we protect our listings. Jesse Van Kampen asks, how do we best protect our private label? So I think that was kind of going off what we just said. Mariana says, she has a question about Chinese manufacturers versus American. I think we covered that pretty well already in the webinar, so I don't know if we need to go over that again, but basically we want to go for what's profitable, what's easy. That's why a lot of times we go overseas. Here's a good question. Travis Moore asks, what is the average life cycle of a private label product? I'm going to have Andy answer this one. Andy, you want to answer what the average life cycle is of a private label product?
So that's a question everyone wonders, right? What's the shelf life going to be? I wondered that when I first started. What's interesting though for me so far, my number one selling product has actually been my number one selling product since I started. So I'm going on 2.5 years now, where when you search for this niche, I come up in the first spot and the second spot of search. And so that's 2.5 years. I'm still growing strong. And the great thing is, because I'm dominant, I continue to get more and more verified reviews, which separates me from the pack. And so, but I also say this, I built a great product. I personally think that my product is better than every product that's on Amazon. And so, and I've continually tweaked it and continually made it better listening to the customers. And so if you do that, and if you don't allow your listing to go stale, I actually just spent $2,000 to upgrade a number of my listings on Amazon, because I hadn't given them a lot of love, and I don't want them to go stale, right? And so I want them to continue to be appealing to the customers. So that was a long answer probably, but for me, I can personally give you a testimony 2.5 years, and it's still growing strong.
Awesome. And before we get to the next one, I just want to say, if you're on the fence, guys, there's been we're getting close to the 10 number of people that are signing up for that first bonus. So if you do want to take advantage of that one-on-one coaching call with one of us, you might want to go ahead and check this out before we finish up, because we're just about over the limit there. So let's go to the next question though. Jim Brewer asks, what are some things you have on your website if your product is strictly sold on Amazon? So they say they don't really want to do Shopify, but they think that a website is good for helping your branding.
So that's a very good question. So there's a lot of different things you could do on your website. I'll give you one idea. You can create your web page and create to join your your VIP discount club, where they just put in their name and email and get a coupon code, and then you send them a coupon code for your Amazon product. And you're building up an email list, and then when you launch your next product, you already have an email list of people to send an email to, offer them a discount, and get that initial sales velocity that you need when you launch your product on Amazon. And Nate, if you want to read, Jim just had a question in the chat also. That's a good question. If you want to read that one, I can answer it.
Sure. I don't. Oh, Jim just asked it. Okay.
Yeah.
What is a good ACOS to aim for? Are there any red flags that make you look deeper into how specific keywords are performing? My product is selling well, but I feel like I'm spending a lot of money on PPC. So first, tell us what ACOS means, Liran, and then red flags to look for, and then how they can avoid spending too much money, basically.
Sure. So it's a good question. So ACOS is your advertising cost of sales. So it's the percentage of your sales that you are spending on advertising. So if you have a $100 product and it costs you $10 in pay-per clicks for that sale, then your ACOS is 10%. So the answer of what is a good ACOS, Jim, really depends on what is your profit margin. If you have a 60% profit margin, a very high profit margin, you might be good with a 40% ACOS, because it's still, it's still profitable. You're getting extra sales through pay-per-click, and it's helping your organic reach. But if your margin is 20%, you are not going to be very happy with a 40% ACOS. So it really depends. You want to compare your ACOS to your profit margin to determine what is right for that particular product.
All right, good answer. Yeah, I like that. So that's some PPC knowledge, guys. And PPC, again, it's something that a lot of us don't think about, but it's becoming more and more important in private label because as the Amazon marketplace becomes just bigger and bigger, as more people see the potential and they realize that customers are on Amazon and that they can bring their product in front of customers with PPC, more people are going to be using it. But the key is you want to use it correctly, and that's what optimizing and what Liran was just talking about. That's why that's so important. All right. And so I don't know if we got to the question about, having a Shopify and a website off of Amazon. Liran, can you just give your experience with a website off Amazon and why you think it might be important for people to potentially do that eventually?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wise, to build off of Amazon. It's something that's one of my goals for this year. I already have a Shopify site. This year, I'm going to be focused on actually driving paid traffic to it and building it up. I think it's just a good idea, not to put, all your eggs into the Amazon basket. Now, when I, this past year in private label, that wasn't my focus, because my initial focus is, use Amazon, launch on Amazon, get the cash flow going on Amazon. But a secondary goal is also building off of Amazon, especially, if you think about maybe like Andy said, down the line, selling your brand. What are you going to get more for as far as a brand? Something where you have sales just on Amazon and there's more risk there, or something where you're getting sales on Amazon and off of Amazon? It's a lot more valuable, and you have a website built. So just it's smart to think about that as sort of an end goal, and maybe even going into retail. Yeah, Amazon doesn't have to be the end of the road.
Awesome. So we had a question here. Well, Mark asks, it said the course will be closed in 6 days, and that they won't be ready that quick. So yeah, the course is going to be closed in 6 days. That's kind of just how it is. And the reason we're closing it, guys, is because we're running, and I didn't mention this super specifically earlier, but we're running the course parallel with that private label inner circle group. We're actually releasing the course in phases. So only the first phase is available right now. The second one will be available like next week. So it's not too long, but we're releasing in phases because we're running the Facebook group parallel. We're holding people accountable. We're really doing, there's really a lot of engagement in that group already within just a day or two. It's been open, only a day actually. And there's already been a lot of engagement, and we are running the course parallel with it. So that's why we need you to sign up before that date is closed so that you can be with the pack. And so we may offer this again, but we're not sure when or if we will this year. But that's the reason why we have that cutoff date there.
Our focus, I would say probably until sometime towards the end of the year, or second half of the year at least, will be on this group of people that signed up. We want to give them our time. focus on the Facebook group and the webinars, and putting together a course and updating it, and then doing these webinars and stuff takes time away from that. So that's going to be our focus once we close this up. On the people who have joined, and then probably at the end of the year, probably once everyone in this sort of phase have launched their products and are doing well, consider reopening it up.
All right, guys, here's a question that we hear a lot. Andy, I'll have you answer this one. Please listen if you're if you're still here. We still have a good number of people that are here, so please listen if you're still here, because this is asked by a lot of people and it's kind of like a confusing thing. Andy, Janine asks, I am wondering when it is a good idea to open a second account for your PL products. I have something I want to PL, and I've sold the same type of item on my existing account. I've heard you can't sell anything on the second account. So when should they open their second account? What's your answer?
Yeah, so my answer is you don't need to open a second account. The way the Amazon shopper discovers products, they're really not going to be a relatable product. The only exception would be if you sold like in the adult category, then I might open up a separate account for that. If you're selling baby products, you probably don't want to be selling adult products alongside with that. But you don't need to. And in fact, it's actually a bigger headache. It's more expense, more cost, and it's another thing to manage. So you can really do it with just one account.
Yeah, here's something people don't always think about. It's kind of hard to reconcile just the taxes and the accounting portion if you have a second account. So it's really not necessary. A lot of people think that you need one account per brand. No, Andy, what do you have? You've probably had 40, 50 brands under, well, maybe not that many, but 20, 30 brands under one account before, right? So you don't need one brand per account. But a good question. All right. Keep going with questions here. Randy Skiles asks, how do you get a new private label product to appear in Amazon search results? So Randy wants to know the launch seeker, right? So I've created a couple bundle products, but after weeks of being available for sale, they don't show up in search results. So, I mean, we've talked a little bit about this, but Liron, what would you
say? So, well, I can say that, sometimes if you get very, very lucky, if you build it, they will come. You can create a listing and there's really no competition and people will find it. Most of the time, 90% of the time, you need to have a strategy to get people to find your product. You need to create sales velocity. You need to do maybe some PPC. We do have our secret launch formula, so I can't go into details on it, but there are specific action steps that you could take to make a product visible, get the Amazon A9 search engine like your product, and put it up ahead of other people. But you can't just expect to list a product that's not branded and nobody knows about, and have people find it. So you have to be strategic when you're launching products, and that's what we teach.
Yeah, and here's the word we didn't really mention it in the webinar, and this is what Randy's trying to do. He's just trying to get organic results, right? He just wants to throw a listing up and then get organic. And what we mean by organic is just no help from us trying to manipulate or change or do anything to help it along. Just customers going, searching for a product and then finding it and buying it. That's organic. And organic buys are great, but they're not easy to get initially. And that's why we have our launch strategies. And so you can do other things like keyword optimization and PPC, but there's just that really critical component of giving you a big boost, a jump start right to start off. That's really helpful. And you have more to add to that?
When you're launching a product, you need to appeal to two types of people, you need to appeal to two things. One, you need to appeal to consumers. You need to have really great photos and a great title, and a convincing sort of bullet points. But at the same time, you also need to appeal to the Amazon bots and the algorithm to make them like your listing so that they show up. So you need to, our strategy appeals to both of those things so that your product not only looks great and photography wise, etc., but you can also appeal to the to know how to appeal to the search algorithm to show up. Nate?
Oh, I think I turned off my mic. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Nella asks, what is the best strategy for making sure you are picking the right private label product, so to speak? So we kind of went over that, but touch on it real quick again.
The question is, what's the way you...
The best strategy to making sure that you're picking the right product.
Right. So picking the right product, a big part of obviously having a successful product, and it really comes down to finding. It really comes down to demand, finding products or keywords that already have demand, one, and then making sure that those things are not too saturated and not too competitive, right? So if there's more demand than there is supply, then you may have found a home run, right? And then we teach you how to make, how to find ways to modify product. This week I'm filing my first design patent on a product. I'm not super creative at all, but I'm filing a design patent on a product that I made some changes to, that I'm the only one really on Amazon or online altogether that has this kind of design for this product. And so we teach you how to differentiate your product also, but still go after things that have demand.
All right. So Brooke Sprouse asks, how does shipping work from China to America? Shipping service, best practices to Amazon directly, or do you inspect?
Yeah, so I inspect the product in China before it gets shipped, but then I don't ship it direct to Amazon, because if the product gets damaged in the shipping process, you're going to get a whole bunch of customer complaints and bad reviews, and your listing suspended, and you don't want to do that. So you ship it from China, usually either to your home or to a prep center, and then they can ship it into Amazon for you. If the item is light, you ship it by air, very easy. You can get it in like 5 days. If the product is heavy, then you ship it by boat, and we use a freight forwarder and a customs agent to do that. Very, very easy. And we share our contacts, for who we use to do that.
Awesome. And I mean, that's basically, what most people want to know is if they have to touch the product. And basically, you can have it sent to a third-party center, like you just mentioned. And you can have it sent to Amazon. Some people do that. We'll talk about this in the course. Usually we recommend sending it to yourself or to a third-party prep center. But yeah, it's really not necessary to touch the product once you get things going.
I have a product that's been on Amazon for a couple weeks now. And I just got it this week. I just saw it for the first time in my hands. So it went from, China to a prep center to Amazon. I've never seen it. And I just got it this week. So I don't touch my products, anymore ever before they get to Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, right? We don't all want to be doing the manual work and handling our products. That's the goal, is to outsource that portion to make things easier.
But when I started out, I did have the products come to my house, and I had somebody come and help me do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you make it to a certain point where you just say, I just want a prep center to deal with all of it, and I don't want to touch product. I want to focus on sourcing and other things. So, but you can certainly have products come to your home and do the prep yourself.
Awesome. I think we're getting towards the end of our questions here. Do you see any more, Liron or Andy, that you feel?
So somebody's asking, I already have a company that is incorporated with Fed ID, checking out, etc. So they use this company when registering with Amazon. Sure. If depends. If the company is doing other things and you don't want to commingle the businesses, then you would set up a separate company. If the company is not dealing with anything else, or it's already in e-commerce or something, then you could use the same one.
All right. Awesome. Well, I think that's coming to an end for our questions here. If you have any last minute ones, Mark asked, what do you recommend with customs? I had products delayed for a long time. Maybe if you want to just answer that one.
Yeah. Well, we have, I recommend that you have an annual customs bond. If you don't have that, it can delay your process. So it's very easy to get an annual bond. It's anywhere between $250 and $400 for a year. So you want to make sure you have that, and that you have a good freight forwarder and customs agent to help you if you ever have a situation where things are getting delayed. Sometimes things do get delayed. I have a friend that recently had his products in a container shipment, and somebody else's products in that container were getting inspected, and so he had to wait a little bit. But it wasn't like months or anything. So sometimes it can be delays in shipping, but if you have an annual bond and a good freight forwarder and customs agent, they solve those problems for you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap things up here. Thank you to everyone who, took the time out of their night to hang out with us. We really appreciate every single one of you. I know Andy and Liron does very much. Guys, if you're interested in the course, if you think that private label is something that you are ready to go for in 2017, check out the amazingfreedomcourse.com/launch. When you get there, it's going to look like this page here. You can watch the video at the top still if you want more details. We basically run through, again, everything you'll get in there. So if you're on the fence, you can watch that. Again, only 6 days from when I'm talking live here tonight on the 4th, only 6 more days for that. Everything, all these bonuses you'll get the Facebook group. Everything's super valuable. If you're interested in that, amazingfreedomcourse.com/launch. Any other questions, you can ask them in the Amazing Freedom Facebook group. That's Amazing Freedom Amazon Sellers on Facebook. If you're not in that, you can join us there. We really appreciate everyone's time here tonight. Andy and Liran, or Andy, if you just want to sign us off.
Yep, sure. So I'm getting a lot of messages on Facebook asking if they made it in the first 10. We will let you know probably within the next hour if you're in that first 10 or if you're in that first 20 for the one-on-one or for the group coaching call. Thanks a lot, you guys, for hanging out. We kept on over 100 people the whole webinar, which is awesome. And my encouragement to you again is don't wait. If this is on your mind and heart, you heard Todd earlier say that he wished he would have started a year ago. And so my encouragement to you is don't end 2017 with a regret of saying, man, you know what? I wish I would have started private label as my business model. You've heard Liran tonight. The man is, I consider him a genius. He's helped me bust through a plateau that I was really in. And you'll see just being part of his experience, how much he's going to be able to help you too. So thanks a lot again, you guys. Happy New Year. I don't know if we said that at the beginning of the webinar. Obviously, we hope that you guys join. We hope that you become part of the great community and part of the Private Label Collective.
And just lastly, we're going to be doing a retreat also. When you sign up for the course, you'll have an opportunity to sign up for that retreat where we're doing, live session in Breckenridge, Colorado. That's going to be later on this year, and we can go even deeper into advanced strategies and sit down with you one-on-one there, live.
Yeah, so real quick about the retreat. When you sign up for the course, the retreat is an amazing experience. We'll probably do a webinar with past retreat attendees. We have what I think is one of the nicest houses in Breckenridge, Colorado. It's about 10,000 square feet, has a huge Roman bath, has an indoor waterfall. This is a house. It sleeps about 50 people. We're going to have, it's an all-inclusive retreat, so we're going to have a personal chef. He was there at our retreat last year. It was the most amazing food I've eaten in my life. But above and beyond all of that are the connections and the networking that you'll make with the other sellers that are going to be there during the retreat. So if you sign up for the course, definitely check that out and think about that as well. All right, so that's all. We're going to go ahead and end it. We're going on over 2 hours right now. Thanks a lot, you guys, for hanging out. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and we hope that you found the information helpful. Take care. Have a great night.
Thank you, everybody.